Now, don't ask me why a double rug look is extra, but yet a fully custom upholstered bed isn't.
When I first started on this bedroom makeover, the plan was simple: create a space I'd love living in every day. But life threw us a twist, and we are moving and turning our house into an Airbnb. So now, the vision is the same, but the projects need to be a little easier, a little faster, and just as inviting. In this room, that means focusing on furniture flips and small upgrades to make a big impact without taking weeks to finish.
Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to my channel. I am so excited to be getting back to my bedroom makeover. And I'm not going to be finishing this room in this video, but my goal over the next week and a half to 2 weeks is to completely get this room crossed off my to-do list. If you didn't see my last video, I was able to get one whole bedroom crossed off of my Airbnb to-do list, and getting my studio done and out of the way got me so motivated to get all of the bedrooms done for this Airbnb. And I'm really excited to see each bedroom done because I think they're each gonna have such a unique look to them, but also they're still gonna be very cohesive. I'm going for a very warm, cozy, inviting look. At least that's the goal. So this week I am going to be turning my attention to the bed in this room. If you're new to my channel, I got this bed on Facebook Marketplace for $40. You can't beat that. And I am going to be reupholstering it. Now, my original plan for this project, before my husband and I decided we were moving, I was gonna build and upholster a bed completely from scratch. But what I love about the change in this project is that this makes it so much more budget friendly, and I feel like it also makes this project really approachable. I definitely think this is a project any one of you could do because the upholstering in this project is going to be very simple. Now, I am going to be doing a sewn version, and the sewing in this project is very, very easy, but I'm also going to be walking you guys through a few no-sew options so that if sewing's just not your thing, you could still tackle a project just like this. So with all of that being said, let's get into it and let's reupholster this bed. I have an attention-seeking kitty cat. Hi, buddy. Now, I have said in previous videos that even though my plans for basically my life have completely changed from when I started this makeover, I'm still trying to stick to my original design as much as possible. But there are a few changes that I have made to make this makeover more budget friendly and also just a little bit more practical for the fact that this is now going to be a furnished rental. And one of those changes significantly impacted the direction I took this upholstery. Now, the layout for this room is a little unique. It doesn't really make sense for the bed to be centered in the room. It makes sense for it to be centered on this wall, making it off-center in the room. So that layout can make picking out a rug for this space a little tricky. My original plan was to do a double rug look where I pick out a large rug to fill the entire room, and then I was going to layer a smaller, lighter rug on top of the rug I picked out to be centered under this bed. But because this is now going to be an Airbnb, I felt like a double rug in this bedroom felt a little extra. So I scrapped the second rug. Now, don't ask me why a double rug look is extra, but yet a fully custom upholstered bed isn't. I'm not sure how to answer that question. So since I have just a large dark rug filling the area, I didn't want to take this upholstery dark like I originally planned because I feel like that would have been really heavy for the space. So let me grab the fabric that I did go with because I absolutely love it. Here she is. This is Presley Flax. This is from Folio Fabrics. If you are new to my channel, Folio Fabrics has been supplying me with all of my upholstery fabrics for the last year and a half. I absolutely love working with their fabrics. The quality in every fabric I've worked with is top notch. Also, the other thing that I really wanted to pick out in this fabric, and also one of the reasons I wanted to go with Folio fabrics, is because they have performance line fabrics. Now, what does that mean? That means that this fabric is stain resistant, pet friendly, fade resistant, all of the things you kind of want in your upholstery for a furnished rental. And not only is this a part of their performance line, but this is just absolutely stunning fabric. It's a white and brown herringbone woven pattern. I absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to see it on this bed. But before I can start working with this fabric, we need to address something. The height of this headboard. It's way too low. So I'm pretty sure the original plan or design of this bed was just to have a mattress on some slatted boards, whereas I have a box spring and mattress, making the height of the mattress nice and high and basically covering up most of this headboard. But I also don't think that the answer to fixing this is to get rid of the box spring and just put a mattress on some slatted boards because of the height of the nightstands. I typically like the height of the mattress and the height of the nightstands to be somewhere in the same range. So the first thing I need to do is figure out how high I need to lift this headboard, and then figure out what I need to do to get it lifted to that height. So let's get to work. So I think I want to make sure that this doesn't come all the way above the mattress, but maybe like an inch underneath the mattress. So that means this headboard needs to get lifted to, we'll say 30 inches off the ground. So let's get this bed apart. Okay, so it looks like these boards are just connected by some bolts, and these of course are the boards that are lifting the headboard to its current height. So what I think I'm gonna do is just get some new pieces cut down that will lift the headboard to the height I want it to be at, and then those boards I'll reupholster and cover with the new fabric. Okay, yeah, awesome. That's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. So these boards sit up into this headboard by 4 inches, which means my new pieces that I cut down have to be 34 inches. Now, how wide do they need to be? About 3 inches. So 3 by 34. Okay guys, I am all set up to make my first cut. I am using plywood from a previous project. So I'm gonna first cut the height of the boards and then cut this piece down into 3-inch strips. And I am using my new favorite way to cut down plywood. It's just so easy and so nice. I am using my Craig track and plunge saw. Honestly, it's just so nice. You measure, you draw a straight line, slap the track down, get a nice straight cut. Easy and safe and nice. So let me get these pieces cut down and then we can head inside and start the upholstery process. It is time to start the upholstery process. I have my boards cut down, they're over there. I'm not gonna get them attached right now because honestly they'd just be in the way while I upholster this headboard. And this might be a little lazy of me, but at the same time, I just truly don't think it is necessary. I will not be removing the original fabric. I'm just covering it right up. So I'm starting with batting to create a nice barrier between this diamond tufted pattern that's on the headboard so that it doesn't show when I cover it up. So I'm starting with batting to add a nice barrier, and then we can start working with the real fabric. I am using my pneumatic staple gun for this project, but a normal staple gun for a project like this would work totally fine. And you can get one at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever hardware store for typically about like $9 to like $15. So let me get this batting cut down, get it attached, and then we can start working with the real fabric. He's got crazy eyes. I can't trust him when he has crazy eyes. So for this next step, I'm basically going to be rinsing and repeating the process I just did with the batting. I'm gonna cut a piece of fabric down and then staple it along the edge. Now, if you wanted to do a project like this and you wanna make it a no-sew version, I would just take the fabric and wrap it all the way to the back of the headboard and staple it in the back. But I'm gonna be adding a trim border along the top and side front edge. So that's why I'm gonna be stapling it along the edge, because all of those staples and everything is gonna get covered up. Now this is a herringbone pattern, so I wanna make sure that this pattern is also staying straight up and down. So I am going to cut my piece out that I need, and I'm gonna do a tack on each side of the headboard and then a tack at the top and the bottom to make sure that my herringbone pattern is staying straight up and down. So let me get this house panther out of the way and let's do that. Okay, good boy. Oh, don't give me those dreamy eyes. Already making me feel bad. Oh, you're okay, my big 20-pound panther. Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna look so nice. Okay, now I can go ahead and get all of the staples in place along the edges of this headboard. Okay guys, this headboard looks so nice. I cannot wait to see this in the room and then see the sides all upholstered. Oh, it's gonna look so good. But I think these next few steps shouldn't take that long. I think within the next like 2 hours, this headboard is going to be complete, which I'm very excited to see. And I'm really excited for this next step. So like I said, I wanna add trim to the top and side front half of this headboard. And before I got started on this project, I knew I wanted this trim to be a contrasting trim. A lot of times when you make cording, you can make it out of the same fabric. It still gives your upholstery a really nice look, but of course, since it's made out of the same fabric, it blends in a little bit. So I went ahead and got 2 different fabrics for this trim because I wasn't sure how contrasty I wanted this trim to be. And I tried laying each fabric at the top to like visualize it, but honestly, it was kind of hard to visualize. So I went ahead and made 2 little sample trim pieces. So I'm just gonna lay these out at the top. This is like a brown kind of corduroy fabric. And then this like kind of tannish fabric really closely matches the browns and tans that are woven throughout this fabric. That looks really nice, but I really like, oh yeah. Okay, the brown is definitely the winner. That is definitely the contrast I am looking for. And plus, the corduroy material has some really nice like ribbed texture to it that's gonna look so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some cording. If you're new to my channel and you don't know what cording is or how to make it, I am going to cut a bunch of 2-inch wide strips of fabric. I'm gonna sew those strips together and then I'm gonna fold them in half and fold cording into the fabric and then sew right along that edge. It's very easy to make. Use a zipper foot. It's one long straight line. So I have all of my trim made and now I can go ahead and get it attached. And in this headboard, when I feel like the front half, there you can feel kind of like the edge of a piece of wood. So I'm gonna be stapling this trim right along that edge that I feel. And also I've gotten this comment before why I don't make cording on the bias. Well, I did have enough fabric to make cording on the bias, but because this is a ribbed fabric, I wanted the ribbing to be straight. So that's why I did straight cuts for this particular trim. So I am gonna get this trim attached. This is gonna look so good. getting warm in here. I need to open a window. Upholstering is hard work. Guys, this headboard, I think I need to take this bed with me. This is too pretty. I don't want to leave this behind. So to finish up this headboard, or at least the edges of this headboard, I am going to be adding strips of fabric to the top. I am going to be stapling the fabric this way right behind that trim. And I'm gonna be using this thing called tack strip. It's basically like a cardboard tape you use in upholstery, and I'll be stapling all along the top, and then when I am done, I'll flip this fabric over and the fabric will cover up all of this raw edges in the fabric that's on the sides. And I'm splitting this up. I'm gonna do one piece for the top and then one piece for each side. And once that's complete, we can quickly get the legs all covered with fabric, get them attached, and finish up this headboard. The main body of this headboard is done, it's out of the way, and it looks so good. I cannot wait to see this headboard against the blue walls in my bedroom. But the final thing I need to do to complete this headboard is get these new pieces attached and covered with fabric. And I already went ahead and did just a little bit of work. Using one of the previous pieces as a template, I used this to show me where I needed to drill the holes for the bolts to stick through to attach this piece to the headboard. And then there's also some holes and hardware down at the bottom that you use to connect the side pieces of this bed to the headboard. So now both pieces are ready to be covered with fabric. I'm gonna get them covered, and then once they're covered, I'm gonna have to cut little holes in the fabric for the bolts to stick through. Then I'll get it attached to the headboard, and then I'm gonna call it a night, and we can finish up the side panels tomorrow morning. So let's get to work and let's finish up this headboard. Okay, moment of truth. Oh yeah, that looks so good. Yay. Good morning, guys. It is time to complete this bed. I can't wait to see this all together. And I did go ahead this morning and do just a bit more work on the headboard to officially call it complete. I did pop the headboard into place last night to see it in the space, and I realized almost instantly that it was actually a little bit too lifted off the ground. It didn't look quite right. So I ended up lowering it by 2 inches, and it was actually pretty easy. I just popped the boards off, ripped back the fabric a little bit, cut the boards down, re-drilled some holes, got the fabric attached, got the pieces back on the headboard, and now it is at the perfect height. The other thing that I did was there was a few spots that I couldn't really clean up with staples, so I had to do some hand sewing. It was really just the top edges at the corners. Doing a little hand sewing to connect those 3 pieces together and give it a more seamless look was definitely the way to go. And the final thing I had to do, it didn't really, I guess, technically need to happen, but I wanted to do it to just give this headboard a more polished look. I covered the back with black fabric. I would have done this last night, but I didn't have any black fabric, so I had to run out this morning and get some. So now this headboard is complete, and now we can work on these side panels. And actually, it dawned on me that with these side panels, I was gonna run into a little bit of an issue, but I will explain that when I get to actually attaching these panels. So the first thing I need to do is get 3 pieces cut out, 2 for the sides and then 1 for the footboard, and then we can go from there. all of my panels are cut out, and I forgot to mention before I cut them out, if you wanted to recreate a project like this but make it a no-sew version, there's two ways you could go about it. One, you could just take the side panels that come with whatever bed you were able to find on Facebook Marketplace and just recover them. But in this case, I don't want to just cover up the side panels. I actually want to add a skirt panel, and I want the fabric to come all the way to the ground. If you wanted to go for a similar look but make it a no-sew version, you could use something like liquid stitch or fabric hot glue to hem the fabric and then get it attached. But in this case, I will be sewing my fabric and hemming it that way. For the two side pieces, I'm going to be hemming the bottom and the sides, and then for the footboard piece, I'm just hemming the bottom. Did I move this whole bed into my kitchen to put this together? Yes, I did. Honestly, having the bed together felt like the only way to get these panels on correctly. I also made a mistake with this end piece. I completely forgot that this end section is much thicker than the side panels. So this piece that I cut and hemmed isn't long enough to wrap around. So what I did is I sewed some black fabric, and now I've got some fabric that I can pull to the back and staple to the back of this board back here. I also realized last night that I was gonna have an issue. My plan was to do corner panels. Corner panels within skirt upholstery is pretty common because it covers the gap between, this end piece and the side pieces. Well, I realized that if I staple a corner piece here and then here, I would have to rip up all of this fabric if I ever want to take this bed apart, and that didn't seem like a great idea. So I am just going to be wrapping this piece around as much as I can, and then I'll be bringing the side piece as close to this end piece as I can and just trying to create as little of a gap between the two pieces. So we're just scrapping the corner piece, and I think it'll look okay. I don't think this is gonna be a huge deal. So I'm gonna quickly go ahead and start stapling this end piece in place, and then we can work on these side pieces, and this bed will be complete. Yay! I just have two pieces left to get attached. I am so close to completing this bed. So before I go ahead and get these side panels attached, I'm gonna remove these wood pieces because they're no longer needed. They are for the original design of the bed with those slatted boards and then a mattress on top. You might have noticed at the beginning of the video when I took this bed apart, nothing happened with the box spring and mattress. The box spring is sitting on the metal bed frame that I had in there originally. That's 4 box springs. So really this bed is kind of just acting as like a shell to cover up that metal bed frame, and then of course add a headboard. So these are now in the way. I'm gonna get them removed and get these final pieces attached. And that is it, guys. Now this is a headboard at the proper height. It looks so good. This was honestly such a fun and quick little upholstery project. I hope I did a decent job of explaining all of the different options you could go with if you wanted to make this a no-sew project, because a project like this in upholstery, I think really is a project anybody could do. And within a day or two, you could have a fully custom upholstered bed for your home. And beyond this just being a really fun and quick little upholstery project, this particular bed did exactly what I wanted it to do for the space. It still has the warmth and texture I was looking for because there's lots of browns and tans woven throughout the fabric, but it also really brightened up the space. It not only pops really nicely against the dark rug in this room and between the two dark nightstands, but it also pops really nicely against the blue walls. And all of the colors that are woven throughout this fabric also really nicely match the colors that are in the wallpaper that is on my ceiling. And I just love how everything is coming together for this room. And like my studio, I have 2 sets of everything, 2 duvet covers, 2 of this waffle knit brown blanket, 2 sets of sheets. So as far as the bedding goes for this room, that is done and out of the way. And I actually have to go start prepping for my next upholstery project for this bedroom. So as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye guys.